In the farthest reaches of the galaxy, where stars gleamed faintly against the endless blackness of space, the vast galactic empire maintained a careful watch. This sprawling empire had controlled countless sectors for centuries, its fleets of ships patrolling the endless void to keep order and security. In one such remote sector, where trade routes crossed and border worlds lingered on the edge of Imperial control, routine patrolling was the norm. Imperial officers aboard their sleek star cruisers scanned the heavens with practiced eyes, expecting nothing out of the ordinary. Yet suddenly, the silence shattered like glass. Sensors aboard the Imperial flagship began to detect an object. Moving swiftly, almost stealthily, into their spacious ship, unlike any the Empire had ever catalogued. It was a human warship, unmistakable by its design and technology. Yet it was far beyond the known human exploration boundaries. The Imperial command was thrown into chaos. Humans, long believed to be an isolated species confined to their own cluster of stars, had never before dared or managed to venture this far. Now, a single warship drifted into a sector tightly controlled by the Empire, and no one could explain why. The ship was large but streamlined, its hull shimmering with unknown alloys and faint energy signatures that baffled Imperial scientists. The humans' weapons systems and propulsion technology far exceeded anything the Empire had seen from that species, whose history the Imperial scholars had dismissed as primitive at best. Rumors began to ripple through the command centers and war rooms like wildfire. Some officers whispered nervously that humans must be preparing for war. Others suggested it was an act of defiance, a test of Imperial strength. Yet none could agree on the truth, and the uncertainty gnawed at the Empire's pride and power. Imperial commanders issued orders to intercept and identify the ship, sending their fastest scout vessels to surround it, their communication arrays crackling with nervous energy. The warship, however, made no hostile moves. It kept a steady course, maintaining radio silence at first, then transmitting a calm but firm message in a language perfectly translated by Imperial systems. "We seek parley, no aggression intended." This message only deepened the mystery. Why would a human warship cross into Imperial space unannounced, carrying heavy armaments yet asking for peaceful dialogue? The Empire's fear was palpable. Decades of peace and control suddenly felt fragile. Behind the polished walls of the Imperial command tower, strategists debated fiercely. Some urged immediate attack to demonstrate strength and deter further incursions, while others cautioned restraint, worried that hostility might spark a war neither side was ready for. The human ship, meanwhile, remained calm and unyielding, its captain's voice steady as he ordered his crew to prepare for all possibilities, but to avoid provocation. Inside the warship's command center, the human crew exchanged glances filled with resolve and uncertainty. They knew the risks of entering this forbidden sector, but their mission was clear: exploration, warning, and perhaps the hope of alliance against a looming threat far beyond the Empire's knowledge. As minutes turned to hours, the Imperial fleet maintained a cautious perimeter, sensors scanning for any sign of weapons charging or ships emerging to support the human vessel. Yet, no surprise attack came. Instead, a tense silence filled the void, broken only by the low hum of engines and the quiet chatter of anxious crews. In the halls of Imperial power, news of the human warship's presence spread quickly to the highest ranks. The Emperor's advisors convened emergency councils, discussing the implications of this unexpected visit. Was it a diplomatic gesture, a trap, or the beginning of something far greater? Outside, the warship hovered like a shadow over the Empire's frontier, a silent challenge and a beacon of something new and uncertain. The galaxy held its breath, caught between fear and curiosity, as two civilizations stood on the edge of a moment that could change everything. The human warship was no longer just a vessel. It was a symbol of courage, of mystery, and of the unknown future waiting beyond the stars. The Imperial fleet held its formation. Like a stone wall as the human warship maintained its position in the heart of their sector, the tension thick, enough to be felt even across the cold vacuum of space. The Imperial commanders wasted no time, initiating repeated attempts at communication, their voices calm but carrying an edge of command that brooked no delay. Yet the human ship's response was not one of fear or submission, but carried a calm authority that surprised many. The human captain's voice echoed through the speakers, clear and steady, asking for the Empire's purpose in this region of space, demanding to know why their fleets patrolled this distant frontier as if it belonged solely to them. This unexpected turn unsettled the Imperial officers. Here was a species they had long considered primitive and incapable of boldness, standing firm and questioning the Empire's right to rule the stars. Behind the Empire's polished consuls, faces tightened with suspicion. The humans, with their confident tone and calm demeanor, refused to back down. The human captain explained their mission was not one of conquest or hostility, but of peaceful exploration, a quest driven by urgent need rather than curiosity or ambition. They brought a warning that chilled even the most hardened Imperial generals, a threat far greater than any political conflict or border. Skirmish was rising beyond the Empire's known space, one that could endanger all civilizations if ignored. This declaration sent ripples of unease through the command halls. The Empire's leaders, steeped in centuries of control and suspicion, viewed the message with skepticism, unable to fully trust this sudden warning from a species they considered unproven and unpredictable. Was this some clever ruse, a subtle ploy to weaken the Empire's grip? Could the humans harbor a hidden agenda behind their calm words? The council debated fiercely, weighing the cost of ignoring the humans against the danger of opening their doors to potential enemies. Meanwhile, aboard the human warship, the atmosphere was tense but focused. The crew moved with practiced efficiency, fully aware that their very presence in this sector had shaken an entire empire. They understood that their mission required both courage and caution, knowing that any misstep could ignite a conflict from which no one would emerge unscathed. Their captain, a figure of unwavering resolve, prepared his officers for all outcomes diplomacy. If possible, defense if necessary. Each crew member felt the weight of history and destiny upon their shoulders as they stared out into the vastness beyond their ship, aware that the future of many worlds might hinge on their actions. On the Imperial side, mistrust ran deep. Messages intercepted between factions revealed fears that the humans might be scouting for weaknesses or testing Imperial defenses under the guise of diplomacy. Secret orders circulated to heighten alertness and prepare for rapid response should the humans turn hostile. Yet at the same time, some among the Empire saw this contact as an opportunity, a chance to learn from the humans' advanced technology and perhaps gain an ally against the darkness lurking beyond known space. The dialogue between the two sides remained cautious but charged with unspoken tension. Every pause in communication was filled with speculation, every word analyzed for hidden meaning. The human captain spoke with measured patience, refusing to be drawn into confrontation, while the Imperial commanders struggled to balance pride with prudence. Suspicion and hope warred within their hearts. Outside the confines of their ships, the stars seemed indifferent to the unfolding drama. But within the hearts of both crews, a new chapter was beginning, one that would challenge old prejudices and test the strength of trust in a galaxy where peace was fragile and uncertainty was the only constant. The question lingered in every mind. Could these two very different civilizations find common ground before the unknown threat arrived? Or would fear and misunderstanding plunge them into war? The tension stretched thin like a drawn bowstring. Ready to snap? Both sides waited, watched, and prepared, knowing that the next move could decide the fate of countless lives and the future of the galaxy itself. The uneasy calm that had settled between the Galactic Empire and the human warship shattered when undeniable evidence surfaced, confirming the humans' dire warning. A long-dormant and ancient alien force, feared in legends and dismissed by most as myth, was awakening deep beyond the Empire's borders. This force was unlike any enemy the galaxy had faced before. Vast, relentless, and possessing technology so advanced it bent the known laws of physics. The ancient menace had slumbered for millennia, signs hidden beneath layers of space, dust, and time. But now, its movements were growing clearer, and its destructive reach was extending toward both human space and Imperial territories. Revelation stunned Imperial High Command. The humans' presence was no accident or simple exploration. It was a calculated, strategic move meant to rally allies against this shared existential threat. This truth forced the Empire's leaders into a difficult position. Centuries of pride, suspicion, and superiority complicated their ability to accept assistance from a species they had long considered inferior and unworthy of trust. Despite this, the stark reality of the danger at hand demanded reconsideration. The old rivalries and prejudices were suddenly dwarfed by the need for survival, yet acceptance was far from unanimous. As the humans and Imperials began tentative discussions about cooperation, the fragile alliance was tested not only by external threats, but also by internal strife. Within the corridors of Imperial power, factional rivals saw the crisis as an opportunity to seize influence and sway the outcome of the looming war. Saboteurs and spies worked in the shadows, attempting to undermine the budding alliance by spreading misinformation, disrupting communications, and creating mistrust between the two species. These covert efforts threatened to unravel the delicate trust being built, risking everything that the humans and loyal Imperials were trying to achieve. Meanwhile, the human crew intensified their efforts to share their advanced knowledge of the alien threat's nature. Warning that the ancient force was not only powerful but cunning, capable of manipulating weaker civilizations and turning them against one another. The alliance had to be strong and united, or risk being destroyed piece by piece. Back on the Imperial warships, crews were on high alert, their training pushed to the limits as they prepared for an enemy that did not respond to traditional tactics or weapons. The humans introduced new technologies and strategies that challenged Imperial assumptions, forcing commanders to rethink their approach to warfare and defense. Despite all the tension and uncertainty, the shared fear of annihilation became a powerful motivator, bringing together soldiers and leaders who had once seen each other as enemies. Across countless star systems, spies and saboteurs moved like shadows, each action threatening to ignite a war within the war, civil conflict that could weaken the galaxy's defenses at its most critical moment. Imperial intelligence agents worked feverishly to uncover these threats, but the lines between friend and foe blurred as secrets piled upon secrets. Trust, already fragile, became the rarest commodity. Through it all, the human captain and his crew remained a steady presence, their calm resolve inspiring those around them to believe that cooperation was possible, even in the darkest times. The Empire's leaders, torn between old loyalties and the pressing need to survive, faced the greatest decision of their lives: whether to open their doors to the humans fully or to reject them and risk facing the alien menace alone. As the ancient threat grew closer with every passing moment, the fate of countless worlds hung in the balance, and the galaxy awaited the outcome of a choice that could either save or doom them all. Despite the many internal conflicts and lingering mistrust that had threatened to tear the fragile alliance apart, the Galactic Empire and the human crew found themselves slowly but steadily working toward a common goal, united by the growing shadow of the ancient alien menace that loomed ever closer. The alliance was delicate, built on cautious respect and necessity rather than friendship, but within this tension, something remarkable began to take shape. Human ingenuity, honed through centuries of facing challenges in their own corner of the galaxy, meshed with the vast resources and experience of the Empire, revealing strengths neither side had expected from the other. The human warship, with its sleek design and technologies that seemed almost magical to Imperial eyes, became a symbol of hope and resilience. Its shields absorbed energy attacks that would have shattered lesser vessels, and its weapon systems, precise and powerful, offered a new way to fight an enemy that seemed to exist beyond conventional understanding. The human crew shared vital knowledge about the weaknesses of the alien threat, its patterns, its vulnerabilities to specific frequencies of energy, and its tendency to avoid prolonged exposure to certain forms of radiation. This exchange of information transformed the alliance from a desperate gamble into a strategic partnership. With Imperial engineers working alongside human scientists to retrofit existing fleets and prepare for the coming battle, deepened moments of cultural exchange and mutual respect began to break down the walls of fear and suspicion that had long separated the two peoples. Imperial officers attended briefings aboard the human warship, learning about their customs, their history, and the fierce spirit that drove them to explore the stars despite the odds. In turn, the human crew gained insight into the Empire's rigid structures and traditions, understanding that their seemingly cold discipline masked a deep commitment to order and protection of the many worlds under their control. This growing understanding turned fear into cautious optimism. Both sides realized that their differences were not barriers, but bridges, allowing them to combine their unique strengths and prepare for the greatest challenge either had ever faced. Alien menace advanced, sending tendrils of dark energy and fleets of terrifying machines toward the border. The coalition mobilized with urgency. Fleets once poised to fight each other now sailed side by side, their commanders sharing strategies and coordinating movements with a level of trust that had seemed impossible just weeks before. Soldiers trained together, sharing techniques and stories that built bonds across cultures. Engineers worked around the clock, integrating human technology into Imperial ships and adapting Imperial weaponry to human tactics. The warship that had first caused panic now led the charge, its crew serving not just as warriors but as teachers and ambassadors. Despite the hopeful progress, the shadow of the alien threat loomed large. Reports from the frontier spoke of entire star systems swallowed by darkness, of planets reduced to lifeless ruins, and of civilizations wiped from history by forces beyond comprehension. The coalition knew that the coming battle would decide not only their survival, but the very future of the galaxy. With every passing day, the tension grew, fueling a determination that burned brighter than fear. Leaders of both the Empire and humanity addressed their peoples, calling for unity, courage, and sacrifice. They spoke of a future built not on conquest or domination, but on cooperation and shared destiny. The alliance stood as a testament to what could be achieved when old wounds were set aside in the face of true danger. As the fleets assembled near the edge of the threatened sector, the air buzzed with anticipation and unease. The final battle was near, and neither side could predict the outcome. But they knew that together, human and Imperial forces were stronger than either could be alone. The story of fear turning into understanding, of enemies becoming allies, and of hope rising against the darkest odds was about to be written in the stars. The fate of two civilizations bound by necessity and forged in cooperation hung in the balance as they prepared to face the ancient menace that threatened to consume them all. The long-awaited day of battle arrived, the combined fleets of the Galactic Empire and the human warship standing side by side against the terrifying ancient alien force that had threatened to consume everything in its path. As the vast armadas gathered near the edge of the darkened sector, the tension was palpable. Each commander aware that this fight would decide the fate of countless worlds and the future of their civilizations. The alien menace came like a shadow across the stars. Its ships unlike anything the galaxy had seen, massive, eerie, and powered by strange energies that distorted space itself. The first exchanges were brutal, with laser blasts lighting up, the darkness and shields straining against attacks that seemed to pierce reality. But the human warship, armed with advanced technology and piloted by a crew whose courage never wavered, led the defense, using tactics that surprised even the most experienced Imperial commanders. Coordination between the two forces grew rapidly as human and Imperial pilots communicated and adapted to each other's strengths. Imperial warships provided overwhelming firepower and large-scale strategies, while human vessels focused on speed, precision strikes, and exploiting weaknesses in the alien formations. The battle was fierce and relentless. Fleets clashed in space that seemed to stretch endlessly, each side unwilling to yield. The ancient force unleashed devastating weapons, but the alliance held firm, united by a determination stronger than any fear. The human captain's voice rose calmly through the chaos, guiding his crew with unwavering confidence, inspiring the soldiers and sailors of both species to fight with hope and determination. As the battle raged on, the Alliance discovered key vulnerabilities in the alien fleet's command ships, allowing them to strike decisive blows. The unity of purpose between humans and Imperials, once thought impossible, became the turning point. The alien menace, unable to withstand the coordinated assault, began to falter. With one final massive strike led by the human warship, an Imperial flagship working in perfect harmony. The enemy's command corps was destroyed, scattering their forces and breaking their will to fight. The victory came at a great cost, but it was a victory that saved the galaxy from darkness. As silence fell over the battlefield, both sides took time to mourn their losses, honoring the bravery and sacrifice of those who had given everything for peace. The aftermath of the battle reshaped the galaxy's future. The Galactic Empire, once proud and unyielding, found itself humbled and wiser, forced to reevaluate its place in the universe and its relationship with other civilizations. The humans, once seen as isolated and inferior, earned their respected place among the stars, their courage and technology, proving that strength came not only from power, but from unity and wisdom. The alliance forged in war became a lasting bond, symbolizing the potential for cooperation across vast differences. The human warship, now a symbol of hope and friendship, continued to chart new territories alongside Imperial fleets, exploring uncharted space with a spirit of mutual respect and shared destiny. Leaders from both sides met regularly, working together to ensure peace and to prepare for any future threats that might arise in the ever-expanding galaxy. The story closed not with the end of conflict, but with the beginning of a new era. One in which old fears were replaced by trust, where the combined strength of diverse civilizations promised a brighter future for all. As the stars shone down on this fragile but growing alliance, humanity and the Galactic Empire stood united, ready to face whatever challenges awaited among the endless horizons of space.